all this intellectualism, philosophy, psychology, and self-help, genre out here is probably hurting you more than it's helping you. My friends, if you're watching this video, you're probably a seeker, seeking internal transformation, self-mastery, seeking a new experience of life. How do we get unstuck, And the thing is that a lot of us are trying to fix the mind with the mind. It's all up here. We're reading books like, is this the answer, We're trying to make meaning out of our suffering. We're following all these great philosophies and self-help gurus, right? But the thing is you can go to a psychologist for years and be psychoanalyzed and get all these great ideas and jargon and fill you with this rhetoric, right? But that may do absolute jack shit in terms of changing your internal experience of life. Because the first principle is missing in the West. The first principle is largely missing in this intellectual era. The first principle is that transformation happens in the body through felt experiences and practices of the mind, body, and breath together, right? We're missing this. There's so much ideas and jargon and different things being preached, but ultimately, if you start using your body differently, you're going to start feeling differently. And in fact, all spiritual or mystical experiences happen in the body, right? Spirituality, for a large part, ignores the body and the physical element of things. But I guarantee you, if you're suffering, with courage, strength, discipline in your life, right? Yeah, you could get as much spiritual knowledge as you want or philosophical knowledge, or you could go to the kickboxing gym and start training every day of the week. You're going to start building more testosterone, feeling different in your body, feeling stronger, right? And that felt experience in the body will change everything. It changes how you relate to life when you have a different quality of energy living in the body. These spiritual and mystical experiences, as I was saying, they happen through the chemicals of the brain, right? The states of inspiration, of communion, of connection, they happen in and through the body, right? And the thing is like so much transformation would happen on an individual basis if we set down the books and simply trained more in terms of breath work, in terms of running, dynamic training, hiking mountains, playing frisbee with friends. If we put our sights into the body and rooted our feet into the ground. You see, what all this intellectualism is doing in the modern day is it's all up here. It's all trying to make sense and make meanings out of what's going on, right? It's all trying to find a way to fix the mind with the mind. That is a futile approach, Great traditions like yoga, like Buddhism and Taoism, they saw the lower mind, the thinking intellectual mind, right, as a hindrance, not the gate. It's a hindrance to the realization of life, to a new internal experience, right, that can be cultivated through, deeper principles than this intellectual mind we have. This intellectualism of the West is separating us from our body. We're all living up here right now, right? And we're all living up there, scrolling through YouTube, reading books, social media, talking with people. It's all up there. We're not in our body anymore. You think back to that Viking warrior or that Persian magi, traveling so far every day, in communion with the stars and with life, pushing their edge, enjoying challenges, right? Living way more wild, way more embodied. They suffered far less mentally, right? There was far less disconnection between their psychology and their physiology, because they had their physiology in check and they realized that the fastest way to influence the mind and change the internal state of being is through the body. Right? I guarantee you, if you're in a lowered state of vibration, right, thinking negative thoughts, having negative emotions, if you went to the gym and expressed all that energy, trained hard, you would feel far different. You would act far differently. You would think far differently. Just by walking and using the legs, for instance, the legs, by using them, it creates this forward tilt, this forward lean, this masculine energy into life, you know? For feeling turbulent, you know, instead of like looking through Instagram or eating food or any of these things that further that state, we could go for a walk and just focus on breathing, right? We sit by the water and just focus on the breath for 20, 30 minutes, and peace will be yours, right? We're missing these essential practices. You know, another example is that by changing your diet, by cutting out, you know, the toxic, the processed foods, eating more whole foods, you know, that come from a good source, you're gonna start feeling way differently. When you have that energy about you in life, you don't need all this motivation or discipline or all this thinking to make you do the things you want to do. You're going to do them, right? You're going to live more fully, right? It's all about creating experiences, felt experiences in and through the body to create that rapid transformation, because all alchemy takes place in the physical. Yes, the mind can lead the alchemical process and the breath can fuel the fire that burns, but ultimately the transformation is a physical one. And by changing our physiology, we directly transform our psychology. If we hold our body in the countenance of courage, in the countenance of confidence, right, and breathe and embody that attitude, we'll start feeling that way. We'll start thinking thoughts that reflect that vibration. We'll start acting in that way, right? I was just out in Moab, you know, hiking through the canyons, long days in the sun. It's just so beautiful. And hiking, you know, from the early hours of the morning all the way up almost till sunset, jumping in that cold creek, meditating, laughing, playing in nature, you know, having this like experience of wildness again, of fully using my body. You know, I'm exhausted at the end of the day, but you feel great. And all these things that plague you when you're back in the matrix, when you're back at home, all the thoughts, the worries, you know, the past, the future, it doesn't even exist when you're in your body so fully. My friends, Nietzsche, this amazing German philosopher, right? This amazing book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra. And he says, like, what is good comes from strength, and what is evil comes from weakness. And when we live, you know, and really focus, we give it our all, and we focus on the body. We focus on our felt experience of life, right? We come from a place of strength. We cultivate qualities that are birthed from strength, actions that are birthed from that more noble place. We come into alignment with life, right? Things that serve life, not things that serve death, you know? But ultimately, my friends, we need to take responsibility for our internal state of being and no longer be slaves to the throes of the external world or the pendulum that forever swings inside, right? We can take responsibility for this and rise to the occasion, rise to use our body, you know, to train dynamically, to go start a martial arts program, a yoga class, get into the dojo, hike some damn mountains, join the Ultimate Frisbee League, whatever it is, right? We can take ownership of that. And when we're feeling low, we can take ownership of our breath and our body and our attitude, my friends. Mind, body, and breath. It's your tools. It's not about all this intellectualism and how to make your life better. It is how can you relate to life from a higher place, right? It's how can you create a felt experience, my friends, because that feeling creates action. Feeling creates action. If you want to change your life dramatically, change the way you feel about life dramatically, right? It's crazy because we're all like up here thinking about, you know, how do I like get more disciplined to like build this business, or how do I stop feeling so anxious and whatnot? It's like, fucking A, start using your body, start cultivating life. Be alive now. Start using your breath, right? Find God, find stillness there. And man, transformation happens. It just follows suit. The greatest things you can do for yourself, my friends, are start using your body differently, focusing on the body wholeheartedly, and focusing on the breath with all you got, my friends. The more we can go to those practices, the more we can train ourselves in excellence, the more that's going to ripple into all areas of our life. It's not about all this intellectualism. It's not about all these videos, you know, that nothing's going to change your life except what you put into practice. My friends, if you resonate with that and are interested in the breathwork intensive training program, we got a group training program coming up at the end of April, as well as one-on-ones. Links in the description to apply for that if you really want to implement breath and sovereignty practices into your life. All this intellectualism, these thoughts are separating us. They're all illusions. They're lying, my friends. Your thoughts are a reflection of the state of vibration in which you're embodying. Change your vibration through the body and through the breath. Change your thoughts, change your paradigm. Peace.